Hello everybody, welcome to Review a Day episode number 48 for Monday, September the 29th, 2008. Hello everybody, welcome to Review a Day, the daily video blog where I review a movie 7 days a week. My name is Leland Brungart and thank you very much for joining me. And the film I'm going to review today is the new movie Lakeview Terrace. This movie is directed by Neil LaBute, who is kind of notorious for directing the Wicker Man remake. If you haven't seen the best scenes from Wicker Man on YouTube, I highly recommend going to see and watching it because it's my favorite funny video online. This movie stars Samuel L. Jackson, Patrick Wilson, Kerry Washington, and for those of you in the know, Ron Glass has a very small role in this movie. Ron Glass, of course, plays Shepherd Book on Firefly. This movie is about an interracial couple played by Patrick Wilson and Kerry Washington who move into a kind of upper middle class suburban neighborhood in California. They happen to move next to Samuel L. Jackson, who is this he's kind of overpowering with his children. He has a lot of rules. He's a police officer, and has kind of mixed feelings toward a black woman dating a white male. The movie kind of deals with that. They kind of have these neighborly spats throughout the film, and it escalates one after another, and I don't want to get too much more into it. If you have seen this film, maybe we can talk about it somehow, but I thought this movie actually looked really bad from the trailer. I hated how in the trailer they're like, oh, and he's a cop, and like that's what they were really pitching it on, was that it's like being terrorized by a cop, but they wouldn't be able to arrest him. But you know, I'm a big fan of Patrick Wilson. I first saw him in Angels in America, and then I loved him in Little Children with Kate Winslet, which is an absolutely brilliant film. So I thought I'd give this movie a go, and I was completely shocked that this was actually a pretty solid movie. First off, I think this is one of Sam Jackson's best performances in years. I've really grown to dislike him in the past couple of years. He's just, you know, Snakes on a Plane. He's playing that same character over and over again. And this movie, they really kind of pulled the reins on. They reined him in, and he's not so ridiculous. It was kind of how I felt about Adam Carolla in The Hammer, and almost. How that there's these two really kind of talented guys, but when you let them loose to do whatever they want, it's not so good. But they pulled him in, and he's not so ridiculous, so when he does go over the top, it's that much more effective. It just reminded me that he is a good actor, and he has the ability. Please do better movies, Sam Jackson. Pisses me off. Patrick Wilson does a really great job in this movie. I don't think he plays just like a scared white guy. He never really feels racist or anything like that. I'm incredibly excited for him to be in Watchmen, to see him portray Night Owl. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. I think he deserves a moment to shine. But what the core of this movie really examines that I did not quite get from the trailer is that this movie is really about racism and prejudice, and it really kind of treads on a lot of the same themes that the film Crash explores. But I think that this movie is actually a little bit more successful. Crash, I understand, I didn't necessarily feel this when I watched it, but a lot of people say it's kind of racist cardboard cutouts, that it's really on the nose. And I think this movie really examines it much more subtly at times. The way the film escalates with these kind of petty disputes that they're having because they're neighbors. My friend who was sitting next to me, he was like, people do not act like that. People do not do this. And I was thinking, this is exactly how people get in fights like this. Like I've had neighbors who my family has not gotten along with, and this is exactly how people act. And I couldn't see how it could just escalate. And there's this underlying racial tension because they're an interracial couple and he's African American, that it could get volatile, and it does in this film, and I think it does it very well. I don't think that this movie is without its faults. I think that the last probably 5 to 10 minutes of this movie, I believed a lot of it, but the last 5 to 10 minutes kind of just went down the path of cliche bad cop movies or thrillers. Like I said, I think it deals with a lot of the racial tension very subtly, and I think that the last bit of this movie, there's literally like a showdown between the two characters that I think was just a little too on the nose, a little heavy-handed. I didn't like the ending, but I think that there's so much good stuff in this movie that I was really pleasantly surprised. I give this movie a 3.5 out of 5. It's surprisingly effective, and the ending was a little wonky, but I really enjoyed it. Sam Jackson's great, Patrick Wilson. It's an interesting movie, great character study. If you guys are liking my reviews, make sure and subscribe. If you have any recommendations on any films you'd like to see me review, leave them in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.